Alright, so I made up some more epoxy. I'm going to go ahead and keep going with this. When you are stirring the epoxy up, it's best to stir it really slowly. You don't want to add bubbles to the mixture as much as you can help it. You're going to get a few, but just be really nice with it and you should get fewer bubbles. So just go ahead and run the brush across the surface with the grain. Now remember, be nice as you can with this, though you don't have to worry about too much imperfections. The problem is this is a middle one, and so we don't have to make it super pretty for the top or anything like that. So I usually spend a little bit more time on the top layer, but this is only the second layer in, and I did the same thing on the first layer. I just went and added some epoxy, and make sure you press firmly down with the brush so get a good clean layer on there. Try to get out any big bubbles you see. Of course, with this process, the way I do it, there will be a few small micro bubbles inside. It's kind of not very avoidable, but now the first layer went this way with the main grain, and second layer went this way. So since it's a circle, I kind of want it to be omni strength. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate this so I can keep going with different grain pattern. For more strength, you kind of want to just keep alternating the grain between layers. So go ahead on this one, start applying another layer. Make sure that you can just pat it down in places, make sure that epoxy from underneath comes through, and you want to just go ahead, apply a pretty good amount. You don't want too much epoxy. You want enough that it'll soak through the layer, but not be since it's just to hold the layers together and give it strength. It's not necessarily to become a layer in its own right. So just keep working on this layer. The more time you spend with this on each layer, the better outcome you'll have, the nicer finished product. So just take your time. It's not a rush. Just keep working on it, and it's looking pretty good so far. Now, like I said before in another video of mine, the edges don't really matter. We're making a circle, so right now we're just trying to get the general shape. We'll be cutting it later in the process to the shape we need, and this is going to be 5 layers. So go ahead and add another layer to this, and we'll go ahead and go another opposite way with the grain. So it's really quite easy. You just need to be very careful with it, and just take your time. This is the second from the last layer. So you do want to spend some time with this one. The layers are see-through, so you'll be able to see through to the second layer from the top if you looked real closely. So we're going to try to spend a little bit more time with this, make it really nice. Okay, we keep working with it. Got something on there, just trying to get that out. Keep going. Try to always work with the brush wet with epoxy. If you try to work with a dry brush, you'll pull the pull the carbon fibers through the mesh, and it gets you a worse product. So just gonna try to do it as even as we can, kind of pulling it as it is, but it's looking good. Make sure it's all soaked through all the way, and you can see where. Alright, I did save the last layer, the best layer, for last. This is the grain's quite nice and everything looks good about this one, so we're going to go ahead and finish this one off. I'm going to go with my final layer in the direction of what the beginning layer was. So we've got two going the same way, but I think it's going to work out quite well. So go ahead. Now this layer you want to be really gentle with. It's going to kind of be your show layer. So just want to really take your time with this one and do as good a job as you can. So just keep working the epoxy into the layer. Sometimes you can add a little bit more epoxy to the last layer. That kind of gets you that sheen, that glassy type appearance on the top of carbon fiber that you see. Since I build these for robots, I really don't go for the looks. I mean, carbon fiber looks good, but really it's the strength that I'm going for, and it's the really lightweight and easy to drill and so forth. And if you do start, I'll be doing that a little later. Is when you do start cutting it or sanding it or something, you need to be in a very open area, or at least have some kind of mask on, because you don't want to get the carbon fiber particles in your lungs. So just keep working with this top layer. Like so. Looks like we're doing really well. It's coming out really nice. So just keep going with it. Okay, we're going to kind of come down to a different level so I can see where I have any imperfections or areas I need to work on. So I'm going to just lightly brush across the entire surface. Make sure I get all the big bubbles I can get out by hand, and it just gets a nicer overall finish when this all dries up. So okay, got a couple bubbles there, and just go with the grain. Getting really good. Okay, now that's pretty much done. We've applied all the epoxy and all the layers that we want for today. If you've got some epoxy left over, it's going to take a little while to dry. You can use it on some other projects if you need to do it, but this is pretty much done. What we're focusing on is the center area here, where we're going to be producing a base plate, another base plate for this robot. So that base plate I made, the top there, with the same process, and I thank you guys for watching. The next steps for this is let it dry overnight, give it a good 24 hours or so, and we'll move on to this is a paraffin wax paper, and it's able to take a lot of temperature. And what's nice about that is once this is cured quite a bit on this flat surface, we'll go ahead and take it to the oven and put it on the lowest temperature setting. I think my oven goes to about 170 degrees Fahrenheit, and we'll cure it for a good amount of time. As long as you can actually leave it in there is a good bet. So and then we'll get to the cutting after that. So it's kind of nice to cut it when it's in a somewhat warm state coming out of the oven. It's a little easier, less particles coming off of it, so I'll show that in a little later video. But basically we're going to be making another base plate